Video of the Classic Vacations demo for the white label created by Mozio, we're going to look at the confirmation email and the confirmation page. Once you click on the book button, your payment method will be charged and you will be directed to this confirmation page where you get a confirmation that the booking has been successfully made. As you can see, the first thing that you're reminded of is the itinerary. So we know that this is a booking for February the 10th, going from JFK International Airport with a pickup time scheduled at 1:45 p.m. because I'm arriving on Air France Flight 14. In this case, I'm going to the New York Palace Hotel and I'm scheduled to arrive approximately at 2:25 p.m. It's a ride with ICS Bucalimo, that's the name of the local provider, on a sedan, which could be a Cadillac XTS or similar. The name on the reservation is my name. It's booked for 2 passengers, and they can bring a total of 3 pieces of luggage. The driver will wait for 30 minutes before calling the passenger to confirm why they're there or why they're not, and then if the passenger confirms they need additional waiting time, they will be notified of how much extra they'll need to pay. If not, the driver will simply wait. They will simply leave and report the booking as a no-show. And we have as well the booking ID or booking number or confirmation number. This number helps recognize the reservation, not only on Mozio's side, but also on the provider's side. So it's important that the passenger knows that this is their confirmation number that identifies their purchase, their reservation with Mozio and with the local provider. Additional to this information, we have information and instructions about the trip itself. This specific ride included meet and greet service, so the pickup instructions are clear. The driver will be waiting with you near baggage claim with your name on a sign. It also gives the phone number to the local provider in case of emergencies. It reminds me of the cancellation policy. It says cancel this trip. If you change your plans, there's no problem. You may cancel this trip up to 48 hours before the departure without any additional charges. So in this case, the provider ICS Bucalimo allows me to cancel my reservation as long as I do it before February 8th at 1:45 p.m. And that's local time to New York. That's important to know because sometimes customers are traveling abroad and it's not my local time from where I am, it's local time for where I will be when the ride is supposed to take place. Additionally, we see that we have 2 buttons, one to cancel the trip and another one to change or make modifications to my reservation. If I click on change trip, it will allow me to edit all the different options that are actually editable. Like for example, the number of travelers, which I can increase or decrease, the pickup time, the pickup location or drop-off location, the information for the passenger, the special instructions, the flight information, and add any of the amenities that I didn't add to my ride at the time that I made my booking. The main reason why it's showing that something went wrong with this booking is that I used a code that allowed me to book this ride without entering a payment method. But typically what will happen is that when you make the updates to your reservation, it will show you if there's an additional amount due, meaning if the price has increased or decreased, and give you an option to pay in case the price of the reservation has increased. So this example is not only a private service, but also a private service including meet and greet. If I wish to cancel my changes, I can simply cancel. If I need to cancel my trip, I can click on cancel trip. This is basically for us to have some information on why I'm canceling my reservation, I can select one of the predefined reasons or enter another in case there's another reason why I'm canceling my ride. If I click on yes, confirm cancellation, it'll take me back to the confirmation page, but in this case, the trip will be basically canceled, right? It's a confirmation that my ride has been canceled. And I can see that everything is grayed out. And instead of the buttons to make changes or cancel my ride, I see that there's a red flag that says canceled. Now for this reservation, as soon as I click the book button, my customer or myself got an email, right? Uh, this email basically confirms the purchase as well. It says your ground transportation reservation with and the name of the local provider and the confirmation number because we know that information is necessary for the customer to be able to identify their booking with us and with the local provider. It gives me the pickup instructions, which are vital for the ride to happen without issues. It tells the customer what to expect when they arrive. It reminds the customer of the information that they entered for this specific ride. It reminds them of their pickup time, their flight number, their flight arrival time, their pickup location, their drop-off location, and so on. It gives the information to contact the provider in case the need comes up to make a change or to reach the provider and discuss anything specific to the ride itself. Say, for example, I need to make a note or I need to notify the provider that I'm bringing a bike box or an oversized piece of luggage. I can do so by contacting the provider themselves or by contacting Mosia. It reminds me of how many pieces of luggage I'm allowed to bring. It reminds me of my contact information as I entered it on the booking so that if necessary, I edit it and make sure that it's the correct information. If I specified special instructions, they will also be added here so that I remember when I mentioned any specific thing that needs to be taken into account to the local provider. Reminds me as well of the included waiting time, and it gives me a link to the confirmation page that we saw here, where in case I need to make changes or cancel my reservation. Of course, we canceled this a few minutes ago, so it's already showing me canceled, right? It reminds me of the cancellation policy, which is very important because customers need to bear in mind that after this policy has passed, there's no canceling the ride in the majority of the situations, and there's usually no possibility of making changes, right? Of course, Mosios team will do their best to try and call the provider and request an exception to the cancellation policy when the cancellation is requested past the cancellation cutoff. But some of our providers are flexible, some of them are not. So it depends 100% on the provider and their ability to call the driver, tell them that the ride's canceled, and reassign them to another ride if they are going to agree to a cancellation or not. So this was a private ride where meet and greet was included. The second example I wanted to show you is a private ride as well, but in this case, meet and greet is not included in the reservation. And what it says is, it gives instructions, but they're not the same as when we had meet and greet. In this case, it says, please call the provider when you have collected your bags for pickup instructions. So this is a clear example of instructions that are more in the curbside pickup um, universe, right? So in this case, it's not the driver who's going to be waiting for the passenger, but it's for the passenger to call the dispatch number so that a driver is sent to pick them up. The confirmation email is pretty much the same. The confirmation number is slightly different. In this case, we can see that it's alphanumeric. So it has letters and it has numbers. It also specifies a contact number in case of emergencies. The rest of the information is pretty much the same. And it also gives me a link to the confirmation page, right? In this case, I haven't canceled yet, so I can show you that if I click on cancel trip, I select my option, I can confirm my cancellation, right? And the booking is now canceled. The next confirmation page is for a shared van. And as we said, shared rides are a little bit trickier, right? Because I'm sharing with others and changes to my itinerary are likely to happen because my ride may take longer if I'm the last one being dropped off. I may need to be picked up earlier if I'm the first one being picked up going back to the airport. So let's take a look at the pickup instructions in this case where I'm booking a shared ride van. So for the arrival, it says, upon arrival and after clearing immigration and customs, head directly to our tour operator's hall and locate Nexus Tour counters. Our Nexus Tour staff, wearing hats and orange shirts, will help you locate your transportation. Please note that you may be stopped by timeshare agents as you exit the customs area. They are not affiliated with Nexus Tours. If you choose to meet with these agents, you may miss your transfers. So different providers know their local area, know what happens there, and uh, it's important that with their experience, they give us this little warnings to passengers because passengers who are aware of what may happen when they arrive to the airport are less likely to fall into these tourist traps or these distractions that may mean that they miss their ride at the end of the day. So in this case, Nexus tells the passenger, this may happen when you arrive. Try not to engage too much with the timeshare agents because if you arrive late, you may miss your ride. So it's important to get this know-how from local providers to avoid situations that are not to our customers' benefit at the end of the day. What's important, I think, is the pickup instructions for the return. So in this case, we see it says, please notice your pickup time for your departure must be confirmed before your ride. So it means that in this case, we booked a return on the 15th of February at 3:15 p.m. In this case, what I will need to do is 2 days prior to my departure, uh, connect with Nexus Stores, my local provider, and confirm my local pickup time. Usually they send it by email, but in some cases they also have the ability to call and confirm the pickup time. And sometimes they have their agents at each of the hotels or the main hotels in the area, and the agent can confirm it personally with the passenger at destination. So you can see here it says you can as well contact your Nexus Tour representative at your hotel on destination or call us to reconfirm. When the day of your trip arrives, please be ready 10 minutes before the scheduled pickup time that has been provided by Nexus Tours. Our driver will be waiting for you in the lobby. I'm going to cancel this trip, and as you see, I booked a round trip here. So when I go to cancel trip, it tells me whether it asks me actually whether I want to cancel the arrival, the return, or the whole thing. So I'm going to select cancel my whole trip, or actually, I'm going to cancel just the arrival so that you can see what happens. And then I'm going to click on yes, confirm cancellation. So back to the confirmation page where my cancel trip is being confirmed, I can see that only the arrival is grayed out. The return is still very much active. So what I want to do next is to go here to cancel trip, and of course it will only allow me to select the return ride, the return leg, and I can click on cancel my whole trip and confirm the cancellation so that my whole trip is canceled. This is the same. This is the confirmation email for the shared van, and as you can see, it has the pickup instructions for both the arrival and return rights as we saw it on the confirmation page. And oh yes, because it's a shared service, it told me that I needed to specify the first and last name of each of the people traveling, right? So it also gave me the option to specify different emails. So at the time I made this booking, I entered a second email address, which is also mine, and I specified the name of a second passenger so that I got both emails, right? Uh, as you can see, here's the lead passenger name and the additional passenger names. The additional passengers also get a confirmation email with all the instructions, just as the lead passenger. The difference is that um, the additional passengers get this message instead of the link to the confirmation page. It says only Jeremias, meaning only the lead passenger, can cancel this booking. This is the email that I got as a lead passenger. And if I scroll down, I see to change or cancel your reservation, please click here, which is the link that would take me to the confirmation page. In this case, a confirmation page of a canceled ride. Last but not least, we have the confirmation page for an express service, right? And um, the first thing you may notice here is that there's no cancellation button. The reason why there's no cancellation button is that express services are not cancelable. They don't allow changes either. So it's important that we know this because um, being a budget option, if I need to make a change, unfortunately, it means that I need to pay for a whole new reservation. So in this case, I'm being shown my itinerary as I booked, and the instructions state, please pay attention to the local displays and loudspeaker announcements. Um, there's something, it also shows me the cancellation policy. So it says, this provider does not make it possible to cancel this trip and it is non-refundable, right? So in this case, unfortunately, I don't have the right to request cancellation or refund of my ride. Now, the most important part of this type of service is probably this. It says, in order to board, you must download your tickets here and bring a printed copy of your ticket with you. This email is not your ticket, right? And it comes directly from the confirmation email, right? Both on the confirmation email and on the confirmation page, you get a link that will take you to the ticket that needs to be presented to um, the train controller in case you booked a train, or the people who manage the bus at the bus station, right? So in this case, I booked a train, and it tells me that it's valid for the 10th of February uh, from zero, so from midnight until 11:59 at night. So it's basically valid for the whole day. And that's one of the advantages, as I said, when it comes to flexibility for express services, right? If I arrive earlier, if I arrive later, it doesn't really matter. I can just hop on the next train and it'll take me to Liverpool Street train station. Um, that is pretty much it. I'm looking at the instructions here because some of this have more validity, like they're valid for a year, but it depends on each service provider. So in this case, for Stansted Express is only valid for that specific date, right? In some cases, passengers may be able to reach the local provider and ask whether it's possible to ride on a different date. And sometimes these providers are flexible and allow um, the service to be used on a different date. Sometimes they're not. So it all depends on the provider. Customers can also reach Mozio, and Mozio's support team will try and help the passenger, if possible, get a refund or clarify whether it's possible to use the ticket on a different date than the one on the ticket. So that's that. And that's it for the confirmation emails and the confirmation page.